You don't actually fear failure. That's the lie you've been repeating to stay comfortable. What you fear is being seen trying, and still not being good enough, because failure alone is private. But trying and failing, that has witnesses, and your ego cannot survive witnesses. That's the difference. You don't fear the fall. You fear the applause stopping midair when people realize you're not special. You keep calling it bad timing, no motivation, not ready yet. But look at your behavior. You start something, you hide it halfway. You plan, but you don't publish. You practice, but you never perform. Why? Because the moment you are seen trying, you become judgeable, and you know it. You would rather stay potential than become visible and average. That's why your dreams live in private notes, not public results. That's why your effort never leaves your room.
And deep down, you know exactly what that's costing you. But you keep negotiating with it anyway. Because if you admit the truth, you'll have to face the question you've been avoiding. What if I try, and I'm still not enough? Here's what psychology actually says about you, without the sugarcoating. Humans are not just afraid of pain, they are afraid of social evaluation. The brain treats embarrassment almost like physical danger. That means your nervous system is not reacting to failure itself. It's reacting to being seen failing. So you don't avoid work, you avoid exposure. But here's the gap you refuse to look at. The person you want to become only exists on the other side of being seen trying badly. Repeatedly. Until you improve. There is no hidden version of you that emerges without embarrassment. The version of you you're waiting for is already buried under the fear of judgment. And staying the same is not safe, it's just familiar suffering. You tell yourself you're working on it in private. But let's picture that. You open your laptop, you start your project, you get an idea, you hesitate. You think about posting it, sharing it, sending it. Then you stop. Not because it's bad, but because it's not safe to be seen yet. So you refine it endlessly, in silence. Here's the truth. That private improvement is not growth. It's hiding dressed as discipline. Because real growth requires feedback. And feedback requires exposure. If nobody can see you, nobody can judge you. But nobody can help you either. You are building a prison made of almost ready. And you're the only inmate. You are not protecting your dream. You are suffocating it slowly, so no one can laugh at its first breath. One action changes this. Publish something unfinished today. Not perfect, not polished, just real. So the question is, are you a creator or just a secret keeper? You say you have standards. You say you refuse to do low-quality work. But be honest. How many times have you called procrastination high standards? You sit there waiting for the perfect version of you to show up. The confident version. The consistent version. But that version never arrives because it only exists in repetition you refuse to start. You are not protecting quality. You are protecting your ego from early embarrassment. Because early work is always ugly. Every expert you admire once produced work they were ashamed of. The difference? They didn't hide it. They let it be seen, corrected, destroyed, and rebuilt. Your ego wants a perfect debut. Life only rewards repeated exposure. One action. Deliberately do something publicly that you are not yet good at. Record it, post it, share it. Let it exist outside your control. So the question is, do you want to look skilled or become skilled? There is a strange addiction you don't talk about. Being almost something. Almost a writer. Almost fit. Almost disciplined. Almost successful. Because almost protects you. If you never fully step in, you never fully fail. But you also never fully win. And that is where most people quietly live their entire lives. Not failing, not succeeding, just hovering. It feels safe because nobody can fully evaluate you. But internally, you know the truth. Potential that is never acted on becomes self-respect decay. You are not stuck because you can't move forward. You are stuck because being almost there is easier than being tested. One action. Pick one identity you've been claiming and fully test it this week in public. No preparation excuses. So the question is, are you going to remain potential or finally become proof? You don't just fear failure, you fear live failure. The kind where people see it happening, in real time. No editing, no hiding, no retake. That's why you prefer behind the scenes over performance. But life does not reward rehearsal. It rewards execution under observation. Every meaningful achievement requires being visible before you are ready. That is the price. You will be judged mid-process, not after perfection, and yes, it will feel uncomfortable. Your nervous system will scream at you to stop. But discomfort is not danger, it is exposure therapy for your identity. One action. Do something imperfect where someone can actually see it happening. Not later, now. So the question is, can you survive being seen while still becoming? This is the part where most people feel a tightening in their chest, because none of this is new. You already knew it in fragments, you just didn't want it said this clearly. And yes, it's uncomfortable to realize how much of your life has been shaped by avoiding judgment rather than pursuing growth. That matters. That hurts. But here is the turning point. But that is exactly why most people stay stuck. Because the moment it gets uncomfortable, they retreat back into invisible effort, private promises, silent ambition, and nothing changes there. Ever. Look at where your attention goes when you feel pressure. You scroll, you delay, you consume. Not because you're lazy, but because attention becomes anesthesia. It numbs the awareness that you should be doing something visible. You are not just distracted. You are self-anesthetizing. Because stillness would force confrontation, and confrontation would force action. So you stay entertained instead of exposed. But here is the cost. Every hour of distraction is a delayed moment of judgment you are postponing. You are not killing time. You are postponing the version of you that only appears under pressure. One action. Remove one escape route today. One app. One habit. One default distraction. So the question is, are you consuming life or creating it? You think hiding is neutral. It is not. Hiding compounds. Every time you avoid being seen, you reinforce the identity of someone who avoids being seen. That identity becomes stronger than your intentions. So even when you try again, you already carry the weight of past avoidance. You are not starting from zero every time. You are starting from accumulated avoidance. That's why it feels heavier each time. One action. Break the pattern with immediate exposure, even if it's small. So the question is, are you building momentum or compounding avoidance? Stop talking about what you do. Talk about who you are willing to be seen as. Because right now, your identity is shaped by one core decision. I will act as long as nobody sees me fail. But the version of you you respect does not live like that. Imagine someone walking into a room after months of pressure, not because they were perfect, but because they kept showing up publicly anyway. Their voice is steadier, not because fear disappeared, but because exposure trained it out of them. Their hands don't shake the same way anymore, not because they are fearless, but because they stopped hiding from witnesses. That person is not special. That person is exposed repeatedly, and you can become that person, but only if you stop negotiating visibility. Ask yourself clearly, do you want to be someone who only performs in private, or someone who survives being seen in real time? Because the second option will change how you breathe, how you think, how you walk into rooms. It will feel like pressure at first, then it becomes identity. Today is not about motivation, it is about exposure. Pick one thing you have been hiding, one skill, one project, one attempt, and put it in front of someone, anyone, not when it is ready, now. Because the moment you survive being seen trying, something shifts permanently inside you. You stop living like approval is oxygen and start living like action is. And from that moment, your life stops being rehearsal. It becomes real. There is a version of you waiting on the other side of embarrassment. And it has been waiting longer than you think. Not for perfection, for courage under observation. Go meet it.